Hi, I would like to talk about an interpreted programming language called Python. The difference between an interpreted language and a compiled language is that a compiled language is converted into machine level code and then into microcode before it runs. An interpreted language does this as it runs. The cost is it runs slower, but the pro is that you don't need to compile your code for Java, for example, it'd be for every version of the Java virtual machine, or for every computer architecture for a language like C or C++. Also, people can alter your code easier because they don't have to recompile your code, or they don't have to have access to your source code. Python is also a good starter language because the syntax is pretty light compared to other languages, and it's a lot more intuitive. It's the functions are also more similar to what you might see in a math class. So the first step you want to take is you want to go to www.python.org, and then you can go to this website and download the software if you're running Windows, and you can also view the documentation for different APIs and libraries on this website. There's a lot of information on here. It'll do you good to read through it. So if you want to install, if you're running Linux, type sudo apt-get install Python. I already have Python, and it comes with most distros, so chances are you won't need to do that command, but just in case. So now that you're all set and ready to go, we'll start by making our first program. So the first thing you'll want to do is name the file and then use the file extension py. There's other file extensions like pyd, I believe, will work, but as soon as you save that, you will recognize it as a Python file. You can do this with any other text editor, or even like Vim or Emacs. But in this case, we'll be using Gedit, which comes with Linux Mint, which is the distro I use. So we'll start with the basics. The hash map symbol is a way to leave comments. Everything, the interpreter ignores everything in front of the hash map, so you can type anything in here. But it's a good way of leaving comments on how your program works, or information like who wrote it and such. So then maybe we'll start off with something simple like printing stuff. So what you want to do is, since we've saved the file using Control S, what I like to do is navigate to the directory, switch over to the command line or terminal, type in Python, and then the name of the file, and there you go, it prints out the number there. We should be able to do this with strings as well. So there we go. A string, by the way, is it's a special type of a list or an array full of characters that are predefined with quotation marks at the end. So now let's try and make a function. Show a name. A good thing about Python is that you do not need to specify any types. So in a language like Java, you need to say like this is an int. It's it's not really necessary in Python, or at least for what we're doing. So we'll multiply by 58. No. We'll return it. We'll run it again, and we get 30,682. We can also insert functions into other functions. So what we'll do is we can also put a command as an argument to another function. Just like in any other math class. We can also combine it like this. Now note from this that the spacing is very critical. If I were to put that, if I were to mess up the spelling, I mean the spacing, it would it doesn't really know where return is sort of not in a function. Another method of commenting is you can comment a whole function if it's under work or progress. There are also some basic limitations like in any other math class. For example, I believe this should cause an error. Yep, it's caused an error because you can't divide by 0, just like any other math course. But this will be the first video. We'll make more videos going into more topics such as object-oriented programming, some more iteration, recursion, and then maybe even some data structure stuff like hash maps or data or binary search trees, or maybe even a special type of binary search tree called a red and black tree.